Hey guys, uh, I hope this all works as it should. So, some of you might have just been joining me on a very brief Instagram live where I opened a parcel which had been left at the door today. Uh, no idea what it was, kind of hoped I knew what it was, or at least would be, because last week, 1/6 kit dispatched my 10-month old pre order for the Toys Battalion Power Squad, the 1/12 scale figures designed to look like the Power Rangers the movie suits. Now, those of you in the know will know that Toys Battalion had already done 1/6 scale versions of the movie suits, and people that have them seem to really like them. And I was very tempted by them. They're just too big, and I feel like once you open that door, you're then collecting like 200-300 figures that are massive. And I've already got Megazords, so I was fully in on Lightning Collection. That 6-inch scale was just kind of perfect for action figures, the kind of just the right amount of detail, and you can kind of keep them to one side, so you don't have to have them take up all the space in the world. When these were announced, effectively using the same designs as the Air 1/6 kit, I was really hoping, as everyone was, that 1/12 would equal Lightning Collection scale. Apparently, it should. Unfortunately, these are not. These use the kind of, when you're trying to buy clothes, and it seems like your size means a different thing in every shop, and sometimes in the same shop in different like like pairs of the clothes. Yeah, this is meant to be 1/12, but they have taken some extreme liberties with what 1/12 really should be. So that's a disappointment. However, Power Rangers the movie sits on its own. It's not like, the legendary Battle or Once and Always or, Once a Ranger, Forever Red. We've never seen those suits cross paths with any others. So, if you really wanted to justify it to yourself, you really wanted to find a reason to have these in spite of themselves, then the movie is probably the ones to do it with, because they do literally stand on their own. Right, let's have a look at these then. So the box is lovely. So the box has this kind of gloss effect, and it's the Power Rangers, the movie cast picture. I'm hoping that the sound is all right, but hopefully you'll tell me if it isn't. We've got the ninja coins on both sides of the box. I'm sure, I've seen some Lightning Collection style artwork where it literally looks like a mimic of the Lightning Collection. I don't know if that should be on these sides, or if there should be another slipcover. But yeah, if someone could please explain that, that'd be amazing. But yeah, this literally just lifts off. There you go. That's kind of what you're greeted with on the inside. So let's kind of readjust. I'm just going to get myself out of the frame so we can actually start to have a look at these. All right. So it looks like we're going to start with the main boys, and then we're going to get to Tommy and the girls afterwards. But who wants to wait for that? Cool. I do wish that, was it the 3-0 figures or something, where they kind of, the box kind of was folded like that, and then you could have them all displayed like this. But make do. I like the idea of them all being in one box. It certainly makes it a bit more achievable to most than the 1/6 scale, where you had to buy each one separately, and it was over an extended time period. Also, shout out again to the little corner protectors that the outer box of these were shipped in. Great attention to detail. Let's have a look at the comments. Odie was hoping he'd go through these. We'll be getting mine soon as well. These really are display quality. Having said that, playability is compromised, like the articulation that makes up for it on aesthetics. An amazing range of motions. This looks really good, not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm hoping that they are good. I'm just gonna see because I did watch a reviewer go over them who kind of had like the first video up. Who was that? 3 days ago, SSJLALO. I'll link him in the chat because it was a really good rundown on kind of what to expect from these guys. He, like me, was kind of like hoping for these sort of figures, but they just weren't exactly what we wanted quality wise. Oh no, everyone's saying the voice is echoing. Let's have a look. Just let me know, guys, if it keeps happening. I've not really used these mics for a live stream before, so we are being risky. Okay. So they've all got these like protective covers on. We don't need them. The feel is like this weird, almost soft. It's almost like it could one day be sticky, but actually, right now it feels okay. Something that I was really concerned about was this stitching effect between the neck and the suit. Um, so I think that's we're just going to have to watch out for that as we go. I mean, from a distance, you're not going to notice, but the kind of closer you get to these, I think you're really going to notice it. So they've all by default got closed fists, but I believe by the third layer we're going to like find some additional hands. Is that like a bit of yellow paint as well, like a little speck? I mean, if this was Lightning Collection, we'd be tearing it apart, wouldn't we? So we kind of should hold it to a similar standard, especially given these were more than twice the price. 277 is what I paid for the set in pounds. So yeah, these were not cheap, but cheaper than the 1/6 scale. People have said that the articulation's pretty rough. It's hard to know kind of what you're allowed to do with these and what you should just kind of be careful on. I'm really annoyed by that yellow paint, and it's oh okay, it's gone. Fine, must have just been something. So yeah, double diamond on the back. They kind of overlap a bit. Again, if this was Lightning Collection, we wouldn't be forgiving that quite so easily. The belts are kind of velcroed on. Apparently, we're going to need to take them off to get the blade blaster holster on. What is kind of going on under here? Probably the less said about this stitching, the better. But yeah, we'll come back to that. Next up in my ordering, I'm going to jump to Tommy. Tommy was always my fave. So let's hope that his figure lives up to the hype. They all seem to have this like white pearlescent coating on the hands, and actually Tommy's got it on some of his armor as well. It does remind me of the 4-inch White Ranger that Bandai put out during Megaforce, like the pearlescent version of the 2010 mold. Yeah, lovely helmets on these. I had hoped to be able to like take the heads off and maybe put Lightning Collection heads on, but I think the scale is just too like janky. I don't know if it's going to work out properly. The paint just above the Falcon coin looks like a little bit too blotted, but it's fine, I guess. I was very curious how much detail was going to be on the power coins, because obviously they're meant to be the ninja symbols, but they can't really be too detailed because of the size. But yeah, not awful actually. And Tommy's going to be the only ranger where we don't have to take his belt off because he doesn't have a holster for Saba, but that is actually movie accurate, so I'm not really bothered by that. All in all, a very nice White Ranger. And then you can't really talk Tommy without then going next to Kimberly. Sorry, Cat. At least in this universe, maybe they're still together. And people really dislike what they did to the Pink Ranger's helmet in the movie, but I really like it. It's got a lot more kind of attitude than the original version had from the Zoo Ranger design. Um, Obviously, she's got the crane symbol repeated then on the waist of the Morpher, and the female mold is different to the male mold. The stitching again is like kind of yeah. Again, it's not something we're going to be focused on, and not like a key attribute that will be on display. So we can kind of ignore just how like goofy they look in the back. And if we're being honest, Bandai's legacy figures looked a little bit rough in the back as well. So we'll go over those shortly. Next, I want to come to. Oh, I just noticed as well. Tommy has gold bases to his boots, whereas everyone else has white. How much were these? These were 200 in pounds, 277. So yeah, these were quite a bit, especially compared to what Lightning Collection started out as when we were paying like 20 a figure. But you know, these are probably going to be a much smaller production run, a lot more bootleg. You have to kind of get them kind of while you can, uh, and yeah, I'm amazed that they've actually managed to deliver them. To be honest, I was fully prepared for something to kind of fall down along the way, but no, they seem to have realized Adam looks great. Like the black sheen, just the way it catches the light, amazing. It does remind me of the suits from the movie in the nighttime fight scene. Ironically, when they are wearing the dinosaur emblems rather than ninja ones. But yeah, we have to be careful with this because I did see on that YouTuber's review earlier that he unfortunately detached the morpher from the buckle. It's not meant to be. Um, Are they like lopsided? I mean, again, I'm remiss to focus too much on the back because like they're never going to be displayed like that way. But it does seem like that's where the quality has been cut. I've recently started collecting Lightning Collection after seeing your videos. I recently got the blue and black MMPR Rangers and red and yellow come in a few weeks. There's amazing Ranger motions. That's awesome. Are you doing stop motions of them? Xena, coming to realize it's almost a decade since you could own all iterations of the Red Ranger suit in the same toy line. Yikes. Yeah, the 2014 Super Megaforce figures, they were amazing. Is it the camera or the torso is a smidgen too long, asks Ian McGar. I mean, they do look quite lanky. You know what they remind me of? The 2017 movie. How those were just like outrageously lanky, especially the girls. Um, so, you know, bit of a coincidence there. The stitching again, it just looks rough. Like it looks like our real monsters when like they would have like a comedic monster with like some kind of Frankenstein stitching. So I do wish that they had managed to sort that. There was like a lot of backlash to the two tones of yellow that were on the Toku Lectables original version. This looks really weird, like this like strapping. Um, but yeah, it does look like they've kind of managed to do something, or maybe that was just like a bad photo. Um, there's definitely two kinds of yellow going on here. Like this kind of like like leathery suit spandexy material looks more like a high. They both look like highlighter yellow, but this seems like a little bit greener almost. Whereas this is kind of the kind of highlighter yellow that you would sort of expect from the movie. Um, and yeah, that's the bear. And last but not least, Second Red Ranger, D8, Rocky. Again, I like the way they've done the helmet. Part of me wants to see the 1/6 scale figures in hand just to like understand what they were even like. But you know, it's for me this was going to be the only way I could get these. Although I did come close last Thanksgiving. It looks like a mix of plastic and fabric. That's dead on Amazing Range of Motions. Like it is like that. There's these like plastic pieces over this kind of pleather suit effect, which is like a bit stretchy, and there's this material that's been stitched together. All in all, like it does the job. I think like once posed, these are going to look amazing. And then we should be able to lift off this layer, or the entire layer, and get down to the accessories level. Okay. So here's what you get. Just oodles of hands, and then you get every range. And I'm absolutely delighted that they did this. If you can remember from the initial kind of almost concept pics, these four Rangers were pictured with their Blade Blaster holsters. Kimberly, at the time, was only pictured with her Pterodactyl Thunder Whip. So I was really bricking it that her Blade Blaster and holster were not going to be included in this set. But it looks, I don't know what happened, but luckily they've managed to make it so you do get what you kind of need to create the illusion. Tommy's Saber sword does look a little funky because it's gold, which is exactly what they did with the bigger scale model. See, it's like gold on top. It's a bit weird. But, you know, it is... That battaline's like a bit rubbish, but clearly they're trying to go for a bit more detail here. I like it. I think overall it's decent. I mean, the gold kind of takes me out, but you know they have really like striven to is that a word, to like make this well painted, well detailed. So in the few times that Tommy will actually be holding the saber, I think that'll be fine. And should we talk about the Pterodactyl Thunder Whip? If we can get it out. A very simple accessory. Like apparently in the film production, it was made from like a bicycle handle. But yeah, it is nice, and they have actually put like multiple colors on this, so it's like 2 tones of pink and black. Yeah, I like that. Okay, everyone is saying that the audio is echoing, so I'm just going to switch back to iPhone audio, and we'll see how that works out. We tried it with a Bluetooth mic, and it's just not the one. So the funny thing about the Blade Blasters from the movie were that they were never actually used in blaster mode. So I think like the only way we've ever seen them as what they could have been were some like concept art. And then in the Loyal Subjects tiny little vinyl figures, they actually had the modes with the handles down, and you know, actually using them in the proper blaster mode. Thanks guys for confirming the audio is better using the inbuilt iPhone mic than the separate Bluetooth mic. So I think like the shape of it is, which way around would you go? I guess we can figure this out. So yeah, the idea is you'll take off the Velcro morpher belts and then just thread it through. So that will be what I do immediately after this. So that's kind of where we are. I'm going to do a quick comparison to figures past, and it would only be right to start with Bandai's season 3, technically, metallic Blue Ranger, which also had the wolf insignia. So this is kind of the most direct callback I can make from the movie, because I didn't have the non-flippable figures. And you can see just how much bigger he is. So yeah, these guys aren't going to be scaling together perfectly. But wow, I hope you can appreciate how far we're coming in terms of realism to the movie. Obviously, these were just these like brick figures, and this is aspiring to be something a lot more accurate to what we actually got on screen. Possibly a little tall, a little lanky, but you know, I think that's probably why it's not 6-inch. On to Tommy then. And for him, I've actually got the Bandai 2015 Legacy figure that we just covered recently on part 2 of the movie trilogy for merchandise. And this was a nice figure at the time, and to be honest, it still is now. It had like these amazing like rocking feet, turning hands, a much more posable head, on a little bit of a rocker. It had like the shield, it had a decent version of Saber. Weirdly, this Saber does plug in, like they gave it a peg, even though, like we said, not movie accurate. So this Saber does not have a gold head, it's got a silver head. We'll just take that there for now. So you can really start to see how much more like pearlescent this white is compared to this one. This one now seems to be like the whitest white that they could make on a figure, whereas this seems to be the kind of more like a kind of shiny metallic-y effect, which I guess works. But yeah, what do you guys think of that? The shield as well, like you realize how jarringly different they are. The gold on this is much more the kind of champagne-y. Well, this is actually champagne-y. No, rose gold, champagne gold in Apple iPhone terms. Yeah, now I'm gonna have to go back to the movie and see which one I like the look of most in terms of accuracy. Again, the stitching kind of is taking me out, like, but as long as we can kind of pose them in a way that minimizes the focus on that, we'll be all right. Now, another fun fact was that the boots were based on some, like, was it Nike trainers? So I wonder kind of how much thought went into that when they were designing these. I couldn't not bring in the female mold from the Bandai 2015 figures. And another way that you could have got the holster-only versions of the Blade Blasters. And just like these are going to, the Blade Blasters on the girls did seem a little bit big, especially compared to how they were on the boys' figures. And I'm pretty sure my pink on this is like starting to like weather over time. If you look at the pink on her gloves and boots, and especially her helmet, like it just seems so much more vivid and vibrant, whereas the body color is darkening. It's becoming like a darker pink. I mean, it's not been in sunlight really, so I don't know why that would be happening, but I think that's what's happening. Look at it compared to the holster. And these were Bandai figures, man. So, I mean, Bandai holds up. Who knows what situation we're going to be in with these Toys Battalion in 10 years' time. But for now, they look great. So, yeah, meet again in 10 years, guys, and we'll see which figure's managing to hold on the best. So, the scale of these is obviously not what I was hoping for. And actually, if we go back to the next Bandai Legacy iteration, I never thought I'd have to bring these guys out again. But yeah, the Bandai Legacy figures that I've got of Mighty Morphin actually don't look too bad next to them, other than just freakishly muscled and with the Ninja Storm shoulders. But yeah, if you wanted something just to kind of go beside them, and again, ironically, if you've got the 2017 Legacy movie figures, then you could technically represent both sets of movie teams in the same scale. Sorry, Turbo. Um, yeah. And these are, I love the way they did these morphers at the time, but now doesn't it just seem like kind of cowboy buckles compared to these? These remind me a lot more of Lightning Collection, like a lot more subtle. But yeah. So I think when I get onto the video for these Lightning Collection are going to be, Legacy Collection are going to be quite an interesting point of comparison. Back to Aisha. So for this, I'm going to bring in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Remastered, because these were the sort of figures that I was really hoping that these were going to scale nicely with. And I think you can tell they just won't. They're just like, they're just too, they just tower over them. They're like half a head bigger. So that kind of sucks. It means I'm not going to be able to like try and use the like Aisha head on this, or like get these to fight the Tenga. Well, we'll still try and have them fight the Tengas, even though technically they never fought the Tengas in the Ranger suits. But it could be fun. Actually, very similar, like vividness of yellow on these two. This is a much brighter yellow than the original Lightning Collection Yellow Ranger. But yeah. And finally, let's bring in remastered Jason, technically, and compare him. Much duller red on this, like a much, and to be honest, this was again a brighter red than the original Lightning Collection. Can the belts be lowered down a bit? They look too high up on the body. Yeah, they can actually, because they all you need to do is unvelcro them, which we're going to have to do to put the blade blasters on anyway. I like the vibrancy, says Ian. I think like it does suit the movie. Like I do remember these suits just popping, and especially now on the Blu-ray, the HD version, like the colors just pop beautifully. So it does make sense. So yeah, those were the kind of what I quickly just grabbed, like off the shelf. Like okay, well let's compare them to like the history, Bandai, more Bandai, and Hasbro's Lightning Collection. Hasbro Lightning Collection was what I was really hoping that they were going to scale with. Bandai's 5-inch was what I wanted them to be better than, and I do think they are, in certainly in how they appear, maybe not in how articulate they are, and maybe not in their lasting ability. But yeah, just crazy surprised that it's actually the Bandai 7-inch figures from the kind of tail end of the Legacy line that's the best scaler with these. Yeah, what a shock that was. And the Sabers don't actually look too different, certainly in terms of scale. Maybe like a little bit more actually on the Toys Battalion version, but a lot closer than you think. You know, if you didn't love gold-headed Tom Saber, you might get away with the Legacy one, but I'm fine with it. And at least that one is painted gold on both sides, rather than having the belt peg like the Bandai 2015 Legacy one did. So yeah, let's have a quick look. What are you guys saying in the chat? Han, I had those flip head Rangers as a kid. I had all of them. Very nice. Ian, I only had one flip head. Rocky from season 2, I still have it somewhere, minus one leg. Yeah, they were very brittle plastic on those, and especially if you were being quite abrasive in your playtime, like I certainly was, then they had a tendency to lose arms, legs, thumbs. It was a shame. Strangely though, could still be glued on a lot of the time. For the price tag attached to the box set, it would have been nice to have Rocky and Aisha's alternate helmet, says Xena. I agree, and you do get them with the Bandai Legacy figures, and was it the Toys Battalion? So they have proven it can be done, but yeah, this time it's just the regular helmets, which is a shame because it would have been cool to see additional helmets in that accessory tray. Ian, I got that wave autograph in 2017. Was that the movie or the series? The belts come off actually, says Rick. Let's do one. I feel like we need to kind of prove this for the sake of the live stream. and maybe we can kind of move it down while we do. So, being as careful as I can here. And this now like looks weird and kind of reminds me of the 2017 movie, where they didn't have belts either. They just had that kind of weird kind of purple power morpher stand-in. This looks kind of easy, yeah. You just thread and go. And again, we don't want to accidentally knock off the morpher from the buckle, so go easy if you do this. Let's give credit though to the way they've like painted these. I mean, that detail isn't amazing. Like the two lightning bolts on the right look a lot better and have filled the gap a lot more than the ones on the left. But, you know, they have managed to get paint on all of it. So swings and roundabouts with this one. Okay, so I think for those of you asking, can you lower the belts? Some of this is a little bit determined by the size of the waist. It looks like now, because we've added this belt buckle, it's made the belt like a little like bigger, and the lower down on his waist it is, the harder it gets to reseal the Velcro up without it kind of splaying apart. So I'll work on that. I'll try and get it a bit like more flush, because I don't want it to be like that. But that's kind of the idea. So I think that looks pretty good. I am confused by these like armband things. I guess they're there to like hide the joints on the elbow, but yeah, they look a little bizarre. But they could well be accurate. So yeah, I'm gonna have a very gentle finagle with these now, putting the rest of the belt buckles on. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed that. That was fun, just to actually receive these today on the 20th of September, and now to be able to just try and pose them a bit more and see what they look like. So yeah, as ever, you guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you to my viewing globe tier, both Patreons and now YouTube channel members. And until the next time, see you later.